I'd like to welcome you to the Philip Morris Cigarette Category Management Workshop. I'd like to open today's workshop by giving you a brief perspective on consumers today, the challenges for the supermarket industry as a whole, and the importance for cigarette category management in the future. Over the past 2 years, supermarket sales have been flat, in fact, declining in real dollars. Non-traditional formats are growing in sales, but in total, even their sales are flat. We are in an era of fundamental change. Global competition is increasing. There is a steady decline in the average income over the past 2 decades. Personal values are also changing. Consumers are redefining their statuses. The status of they want more home-centered, they want more value, and they are more conscious of value today. They are moving more towards back to basics. Consumers want better quality at a better price. They will indulge, but only in moderation. And finally, consumers are eager to shop around for a better deal. So what are the consequences for our industry? Supermarkets are being squeezed at both ends. First, price clubs and other alternative formats, and secondly, C-stores and C-gas stores. Now to the specifics about cigarettes. While arming ourselves against clubs in a very competitive market and looking at other categories, we have lost enormous cigarette volume to convenience stores and C-gas stores. And we need to ask ourselves why. Well, I think there are 2 reasons. Some of us fail to recognize the damage, and some of us feel helpless to respond to these challenges. But what about the other issues? There have been societal changes that put a lot of pressure on us as operators. There are more regulations than in the past, and of course, local, state, and federal taxes continue to increase dramatically. Well, how about our perceptions as retailers? Well, we think the challenges of the cigarette categories are enormous. The category is declining, or the category will run itself. Another issue is the large shrink in our minds. We think that shrink is high, so we've switched to more non-self-service merchandising techniques. In some of our minds, our conclusions are that we should just accommodate our consumers. That leads to little focus on merchandising, and that, of course, leads to category apathy. All of this begs one question. Should we manage the cigarette category differently? I'm here because I think we should. And to find out how, this workshop has a focus on space management, micro-merchandising, aggressive promotion, and other merchandising tactics. Now I'd like to introduce the program co-hosts. Craig Johnson is the Vice President for Trade Marketing for Philip Morris USA, and Bill Bishop is the President of Willard Bishop Consulting. And to begin the program, let me start by asking Craig a question. What can we do to manage this all-important category better?
Thanks, Joe, and good morning. Joe really poses a pretty interesting question, and that is this category really worth it? Well, today, to answer that question, we need to take a step back in time and look at history a bit to kind of see where we've been. We also want to concentrate on where we are today and what the current factors are in the marketplace. Then finally, we want to make some predictions, and actual predictions that you can take back to your independent operations and try to influence the cigarette category profitability. As a matter of fact, we'll close this workshop by completing a worksheet together, a profitability worksheet together, that'll allow you to add the components of merchandising the category and to improve your carton per week sales. So let's move on. The 3 things we really want to concentrate on in the first part of the presentation have to do with the industry. What's the state of the industry? Secondly, it's what's going on in the trade channels. Are there other formats out there that we ought to pay particular attention to? And finally, what are the financial implications of the mix? Now, I'm going to give you the headline up front. And basically what we're going to show you is the category is a big category. It's a very profitable category, and it's very important. But most importantly, it can be improved if managed properly. A quick look at history. The category has been divided into 4 distinct segments during its continuous evolution. Beginning in the mid-30s with the non-filter business, it evolved to the filters in the 1950s. The 1970s saw the flavor category emerge. In 1990s, you got it, price in a big way. Now, if you read the newspapers today or watch television, you get a pretty bad taste in your mouth about the cigarette category. And you wonder, are they selling any sticks at all? Well, let me give you a perspective on that. In 1992, there were over 500 billion sticks of cigarettes sold in the United States. The 5-year average annual decline is right at 2.3%, not the 20% numbers you may imagine when you read the articles. There are still 48 million smokers out there, and the average smoker decline is about 1% over a 5-year period. So net, about 1 in 4 of your adult shoppers smoke cigarettes. So it's big, the decline is fairly moderate, and it's important. For perspective, the size of the category, it's your number 3 category. It's just under $9 billion in revenue annually. That represents about 8% of all commodity volume.